Chapter 32, Sawing, Español, and Voices. They picked the wrong candle.
The correct candle that you needed was here,
said the innkeeper, picking up the green-colored candle from the bottom row, Sea Island Cotton.
If you had looked carefully at the recording that showed Micaliboo telling you the instructions for this game,
she continued,
you could have seen that he was eating white cotton candy. You could have picked this up as a clue for cotton.
Blooper, I keep missing all these clues. Before I realize what to do with them, it's already too late.
I could have sworn that his first name was Mason,
Luigi said.
His first name is Mason, I'm sure also,
Blooper confirmed.
But that wasn't the answer. Well, you should get going now,
the innkeeper told them.
We're running out of time. Oh, and one more thing.
The players turned around.
This place is now called the Candlelight Inn. But when it first opened, the inn was called the Aroma Tavern.
"22 minutes remaining, 25 miles remaining." The players drove to their next location, which was 35 miles away from the lake they had first embarked from, and also a location past the halfway mark for their journey. They drove past a sign which read Yoshi Park Resort and parked their car.
"Chainsaw buzzing,"
Luigi said nervously, hearing the unfamiliar buzz in the air. They walked over to the middle of the open area and saw the scene of their next challenge, a stack of logs, and a Yoshi who skillfully moved his chainsaw through the wood of a tree stump. The players waited for him to finish his carving, and when he was done, the Yoshi took off his goggles and held his wood figure up in the air.
"I am the mole,"
he said truthfully. In his hands was a wood carving of a Monty mole.
"Whoa,"
said Luigi.
"That's amazing." "That's so cute,"
Toadette said. The Yoshi gave it to her.
"Welcome to your fourth mini-challenge," he said. "I'm glad you've all made it to this beautiful park resort. If you win this game, I'll add 10 minutes to your timer." "We'll really need that,"
Blooper told him.
"See that stack of logs over there?"
he said.
"You must carry one of those onto this table. Your job will be to saw clean through the log, directly in half."
He pointed at the 3 saws on the table.
"There are 3 tools you can use for this task,"
he added.
"Going from easiest to most difficult, it's up to you which one you want to use. The easiest tool is the 2-handed saw. Next is the axe. And finally, the difficult one-handed saw. I can either add 10, 15, or 20 minutes to your timer if you can beat me in a lumberjack race. If you can saw your log in half before I complete another one of these mole wood carvings, you win."
He unwrapped the stack of logs from their binding.
"Go ahead. The 3 of you can choose, but in the end, only one of you can saw."
The 3 players went over to their choice of instruments.
"Let's go for the one-handed saw,"
said Blooper.
"That was my initial thought,"
Toadette said, picking it up.
"Shouldn't we play safe and just use the 2-handed saw?"
said Luigi.
10 minutes is enough to help us. I don't want to lose this challenge." He did say that the one-handed saw was the most difficult to cut with. "I don't want to lose this challenge either,"
Toadette said fearfully.
"But we could easily get 20 by using the one-handed saw,"
Blooper said.
"It's not impossible to cut a log with a one-handed saw." "But how much time would we have?"
Luigi asked. The Yoshi waved.
"I'm guessing about 10 minutes,
said Blooper.
"Well, it depends how fast he can carve a mole,"
Luigi told them.
"If he can do it in 5 minutes, then we're underestimating this game. But how about the axe?
Considered Toadette.
In my opinion, the axe is harder to cut with,
Blooper told them.
Someone could hurt themselves with the continuing swinging motion.
He looked at the one-handed saw.
This is a back and forth motion,
he said.
But it'll take forever,
said Toadette. Luigi nodded.
It's either we add time to our timer, or no time,
said Luigi.
We have to take a risk no matter what. I'm voting for the one-handed saw,
said Blooper.
It's the only choice that makes sense to me. All right,
said Luigi.
One-handed saw.
The players decided on the one-handed saw, the hardest of the three cutting tools. If they succeed, the choice was worth it. If they don't, then they would end up wasting valuable time for the rest of their challenge. But there was a twist in this mini-challenge that none of them would be aware of until the end. Because he was the one who had chosen the tool, they unanimously chose Blooper to participate in the challenge. Blooper put on his protective goggles. The Yoshi started his chainsaw. Toadette and Luigi sat a few feet away on a log.
Go!
Blooper and the Yoshi got to work. Toadette cheered contentedly, as Luigi covered his ears from the intense sound. Blooper wildly began to saw with the instrument they had chosen, while the wood sculptor calmly and noisily began his work. The race against the chainsaw was on.
Come on, Blooper!
Shouted Toadette with enthusiasm. Blooper kept a going rhythm with his continuous cutting, sliding the saw back and forth on the piece of wood.
This is difficult!
He shouted back over the roaring chainsaw. The Yoshi continued to cut into his own log with the device in his hands. They continued to battle, as the two other players watched patiently. Toadette, after a while I noticed that Blooper had barely cut the wood at all. It only had a little slit at the top. Luigi, he was working frantically. It must have been the saw. 3 minutes passed by. The Yoshi began forming the shape of the mammal from the wood block he had cut out. Blooper was already tired, slowing down his pace as he continued to saw the log in half.
Don't give up!
Luigi shouted.
Look at this mole,
Toadette said, rolling the wood carving in her hands.
Everything is so detailed. Look at how carefully shaped the eyes are.
She put her fingers over the unevenness of the wood.
The more detail needed, the longer it'll take the wood sculptor to do the challenge,
Luigi said reassuringly.
We're going to win this. I'm sure.
6 minutes had passed. The Yoshi was nearly done with his carving, denting out the details of the eyes. Blooper was nearly giving up, having cut only a few inches into the 2-foot thickness of the log.
I have a gut feeling we're not going to win,
Luigi said. Suddenly, the chainsaw buzzing stopped. The Yoshi picked up his mole and blew on it. Blooper threw his one-handed saw to the ground with frustration.
Damn it!
He shouted, his voice drained out. The Yoshi proudly held up his mole. The players had lost. Their seemingly easy task of sawing a single log was proved too difficult for them to complete. Instead of gaining time, they ended up losing a great amount.
Sorry, but this game was unfair,
the Yoshi told them. All three players looked at him in shock and confusion.
You chose to use the single-bladed saw,
he explained.
On a piece of wood this thick, using any kind of saw, cutting would not be in a back and forth motion. You would constantly have to make V-shaped incisions, something the mole would know to do. However, you chose to stay with one incision, which meant that the blade would constantly stick, making your task, well, actually impossible.
Luigi, I completely sided with Blooper in choosing the one-handed saw. I shouldn't have done that. I'm so ticked off that we lost time instead of winning time. I'm wasting time right now by recording my diary entry. Blooper, I chose the one-handed saw against that two-handed saw, because a two-handed saw would be just ridiculous to use with one person. And not at all did I consider choosing the axe, which in my opinion, wouldn't have helped at all. Toadette, I think the axe would have helped us the most, because if we used a saw, the Yoshi told us that we had to make V-shaped cuts. Nobody knew how to make V-cuts, which is why we had failed.
Here you go,
said the Yoshi, giving Blooper the mole he had just carved. He also handed him an envelope, which he tucked away as they walked back to their car. They all sat down in their seats.
Come on, open it,
said Luigi, as Blooper handed it to him. Inside was a cassette tape along with a note.
Learning a new language,
Toadette read,
is like adding lost time to your life. I'm already bilingual,
Luigi said with pride.
That makes me very special.
Blooper looked at him with annoyance and played the tape.
NACOOYSA LUSASESARFZEETH, REBEMMRY, DAMOLE, Shin Apps, NEAREORYL. Oh,
said Toadette.
The mole. Did you hear that?
They turned back the tape and listened for a second time.
I didn't hear anything,
Luigi said.
I know that sound,
Blooper told them.
Reversed speaking. How do you know that?
Luigi asked him.
People do this all the time in music to input subliminal messages, he said.
Blooper pressed the arrow button on the car cassette player, and the recording played out differently.
Learn Spanish. Lo me add. Remember these phrases as well as you can. What fun!
Blooper, I found it amusing that they included the phrase lo me add, just to make it sound like the mole played in reverse. Smart producers.
Hola. ¿Dónde está la caja con el reloj?
"9 minutes remaining, 19 miles remaining." The players had the rest of their journey to their next location, a Mexican souvenir store, to memorize 20 Spanish phrases. As soon as they reach their next site, they must ask the store owner which of the 20 boxes located around the store contains a clock in it. If they find the clock, 15 minutes would be added to their timer. If they guess wrong, 15 minutes would be subtracted from their timer, ending their game. With only 9 minutes left, little time was available for the players to learn their new language. In the end, only one of these phrases would prove crucial to them. The recording began to repeat itself.
¿Dónde está la caja con el reloj? Under the table, debajo de la mesa. In the third drawer, en el tercer cajón. Inside the cash register, dentro di la caja registradora. Italian was never this hard,
Luigi groaned.
I've memorized 5 of these phrases,
said Toadette.
Once I memorize 5 more, I'll have 10. That's already half of them. I have an idea,
said Blooper.
Why don't half of us memorize the first 10, and half of us memorize the other 10? Toadette, you should memorize the first half since you're ahead. Luigi and I will memorize the latter.
They listened to their tape, as time slowly began to run out.
The green box, La Caja Verde. The red box, La Caja Roja. The yellow box, La Caja Amarilla. Upon the cabinet, sobre el gabinete. On the window sill, en el alféizat. With a ribbon, con una cinta. With stripes, con rayas. Drive faster, Blooper,
Luigi whispered out loud.
There's no use,
Blooper said, pressing harder on the accelerator pedal.
As soon as we reach the shop, we'll be fine,
Toadette told them.
Our time limit would be boosted. All we have to do is study hard. Among the flowers, entre las flores. Under the carpet, debajo la alfombra. On the wall, en el perd. Underneath the sombrero hat, debajo del sombrero. In the poncho, en el poncho. Behind the curtains, detrás de las cortinas. In the glass shelf, en el anaquel de cristal. In the hole, en el Traitor del champignon. On the armchair, en el sillón. A surprise, una sorpresa.
Toadette, one of the phrases we had to memorize was una sorpresa, which scared me a little bit because then that would mean we had to guess for the box we needed.
I got a few of those,
said Blooper.
I didn't get anything,
Luigi complained. The tape repeated itself for the 3rd time.
I think I'm comfortable with the first 10 already,
Toadette said.
How are you guys? So,
Luigi said, his voice struggling with the truth. Luigi, in truth, I just picked out a few of the phrases I heard and memorized only those. I didn't think it would help us in the game at all.
Still shaky,
Blooper replied.
And we're almost at the shop.
The players got their last minute to review before they reached the store. The name España, Las Memorias was displayed on a broken light, and as quick as they could, they entered.
Hola,
said a Goomba wearing a sombrero.
Bienvenidos a esta tienda. Hola,
the players spoke back. Only able to speak Spanish with the store owner and each other, Toadette asked the question to begin their game. They had just over 200 seconds left to find their box.
¿Dónde está? La caja con el reloj?
Toadette asked.
En el anaquel de cristal es la caja verde,
the Goomba replied. Luigi suddenly lit up and walked over to the back of the store, over to the glass shelf against the wall. Inside were 2 boxes.
This isn't my fault if we're wrong,
said Blooper.
Go ahead and open it if you want. Are you sure?
said Toadette.
This is our only chance. I'm sure it's the glass shelf,
said Luigi. He reached in and pulled out the green box.
Verde.
Luigi took a deep breath and lifted the cover off, revealing a green clock with a thumbprint as its face. The players laughed.
Yes.
shouted Toadette with relief.
You saved us, Luigi.
Luigi smiled modestly and shrugged.
It's only 15 minutes,
he pointed out.
Felicidades,
the Goomba said.
You've saved your game in the nick of time. But you must still hurry though. You can still lose it all. Your final destination lies ahead.
The players nodded and left to their car, less anxious and more focused than ever. "15 minutes remaining, 12 miles remaining." Blooper, I was ready to give up. No way did we have a chance in winning that game. Toadette was the only one comfortable, but I hardly memorized any of those phrases, and even Luigi was struggling the most. You had to think of suspicious when he got that answer. Only the mole knows the answers to everything in this game. Toadette, we had a minute left on our timer. Had we wasted a minute more in some other time during our journey, our game would have been over. We wasted a lot of time at the mall, so I'm happy we were able to cut a minute away from that struggle. It was just enough to save us. Luigi, Toadette was very happy when I saved us time. She did her share by winning the Romeo and Juliet game, so I guess we're at the same level. Blooper tried to win the lumberjacking game, but the whole situation just got messed up because of his decision. At least he tried, or at least it looked as if he tried.
At this rate, we're going to make it,
said Blooper.
At least it looks like we're going to make it. Slow down a little bit, you're speeding,
noticed Toadette. They passed by a speed limit sign with the number 60 on it.
If we don't make it, can we still celebrate since this is our last game?
Luigi suggested. The other two nodded with agreement. Blooper, I think Toadette is the mole. She's smart. She's shown her intelligence in the games we've played. Luigi is a close second, but there are only two people to choose from, so I'll have to go with one of them. Toadette, my theory is that Luigi knows that Blooper is the mole, and is trying to get information out of him. Blooper is the kind of person who brings his attitude into a lot of the games we've played, and every time he does, the team breaks down. The mole wants the team to break down and point suspicion at one another. Luigi, my coalition with Blooper makes me wonder why he's telling me to suspect Toadette. I'll never be sure, though, whether Blooper is really trying to help me or is actually throwing suspicion away from him. I've never considered Blooper as a deceiver, which is scary if he turns out to be the mole. Toadette, Luigi has sabotaged nearly every challenge we've played since the beginning of our game. I've always looked at those sabotages as inexperience, but now, I'm beginning to think that they may have been intentional after all. Blooper, I feel awful for forming a coalition with Luigi, who has a chance of actually turning up as the mole. It's really going to hurt somebody. Maybe I shouldn't have formed the coalition in the first place. I know that it was wrong to do it. Out of these three players, one of them was going to discover the consequences of their decision, one of them would turn up as the mole, and one would be the winner, for correctly identifying him or her as the ultimate traitor. The players had a single mile to go. 6 minutes remained on the clock. Their van slowly approached the metal gate that blocked the rest of their path. On it, written on a sign with a logo of the letter B, read the location: Bob-omb train station.
"We're lead here?"
asked Luigi. Blooper looked at the map.
"According to the directions that the Mexican Goomba gave us, this is the train station."
Blooper looked at the map for a second time. They all stared ahead at the metal gate.
"But it's not open,"
Toadette said.
"Look,"
said Luigi.
"A gate intercom system, right there. Someone can hear us." "Is anyone there?"
Blooper shouted, sticking his head out the window. Nobody was listening to them, the intercom was off. He turned off the engine of their car as the three of them sat, confused of their situation.
"We're running out of time just sitting here,"
said Toadette.
"We need to think. Let's barge the gate down,"
Luigi said, laughing. He frowned when he realized that nobody was taking his joke seriously.
"Maybe there's something hidden around here,"
said Blooper.
"Maybe there's a way to open this gate."
The three of them got out of their vehicles and approached the metal bars of the gateway. Toadette pressed the button on the intercom, and to her surprise, it turned on.
"Guys, I turned it on,"
she told them.
"We're here, Macaliboo!"
shouted Blooper into the speakers.
"Do you hear us? Say something." "I think we're probably not talking to anyone,"
said Luigi.
"I just have a gut feeling." "You're right,"
said Blooper.
"I don't even hear anything. That probably means that we can speak into this, but they can't speak back. So maybe people are listening to us right now. We don't know."
He pressed his head against the speaker, when all of a sudden, his eyes widened.
"I hear someone talking,"
he whispered.
"I swear someone's talking to us." "I don't hear anybody,"
said Luigi. Toadette put her head against the speaker, and in a low volume, she heard a voice.
"I hear it too,"
she said.
"Call me crazy, but it sounds as if the person is trapped at the bottom of a well." "Poor guy,"
thought Luigi.
"And by the way guys, I still can't hear anything."
He pressed his ears against the speaker in the same way the others were doing. Only Blooper and Toadette could hear what was being emitted, and whether it was a recording of someone or somebody actually speaking to them at that second, they heard the message clearly.
"Temptation will ruin everything."
I'll be opening the mole poll on the next update, which will ask, if you hadn't have guessed already,
who is the mole, traitor aboard?
Toadette, Luigi, or Blooper? Only one of these people has always been the correct answer. And episode 7 is coming to a finish. All the sushi, books, candles, sawing, and Spanish culture will end in a gain or loss of 50,000 coins. And the final quiz is yet to be taken. Who will be the winner? Note: Sunday, July 13th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., on Fox Reality, is a rerun of the first 5 episodes of The Mole Season 5 on ABC. If you've missed them, this is your only chance to catch up. Well, YouTube also helps, ha! Also, the ratings of The Mole are getting lower, due to the horrible 10 p.m. time schedule. But that won't stop people from helping The Mole from getting executed. Visit the Save the Mole site. Watch The Mole this Monday at 10 p.m. on ABC. We all need your help. Thanks to all readers and reviewers. End of chapter. Chapter 33, The Last Test. Episode 7, Part 5. Blooper froze.
Did you hear that?
He said. Toadette and Luigi looked at him.
Under the seats,
Luigi said with excitement.
You guys aren't crazy. I heard a voice also. The car,
Toadette said. The three of them ran back to their vehicle. Blooper, thinking he was the only one who heard a different phrase emit from the speaker, remained silent.
Where is it?
Toadette asked.
The voice said to look under the seats. It should be here somewhere,
said Luigi.
The voice wouldn't lie. We only have about 5 minutes left,
Blooper told them.
If what we need is under the seats, then we'll make it in time. Ha! You're finally being optimistic,
noticed Luigi with a grin. He lifted the back seat cushion he had been sitting on and found a piece of paper.
Here,
he said. He showed the message to the others. You're almost there. Now the gate needs to be opened. The 6-letter password is needed. Where have you been?
Password,
Blooper repeated.
Then we should speak into the intercom, right?
They ran back to the gate, back to the voice mechanism.
6 letters,
Toadette thought.
Does this have to do with the 6 executed players? Rock Hawk, Dupliss, Daisy, Birdo, Peach, Lackey 2,
Luigi said.
6 people. I think it might. No, but the note says where have you been?
Blooper told them.
That has nothing to do with the executed players. We've been at all the execution ceremonies so far,
Luigi pointed out.
I think we might have missed something in this challenge,
said Toadette.
Maybe we were given the password. Exactly,
said Blooper.
6 locations. This whole game had lead us to 6 places. That's the answer. Wait,
said Luigi.
The Japanese restaurant, the bookstore, the inn, the park resort, and the Mexican place. That's only 5. If you include the gate, it makes 6 locations,
noticed Toadette. They all stared at the large metal B on the front of the gate, the logo for the Bob-omb train station.
I think I got it,
said Blooper.
B is our first letter, standing for the Bob-omb train station. Oh, and then the Mexican store stands for M,
said Toadette.
B-M,
Luigi said.
Initials. No, we have to get the name of the store,
said Blooper.
It was España, Las Memorias. B&E,
Luigi said.
Let's see, the name of the restaurant was Tokii Restaurant. B-E-T,
said Toadette.
I remember the name of the bookstore, Robinson Crusoe. B-E-T-R. Better,
Luigi guessed.
We still have to go on,
Blooper told him.
The candlelight inn gives us B-E-T-R-C. But before we left, the lady told us it had another name,
Toadette recalled.
The Aroma Tavern.
Luigi almost shouted out.
I knew that was important. B-E-T-R-A. Now we need the park resort.
Toadette and Blooper turned to Luigi.
What?
He said.
How should I know what it was called? You have the best memory,
Toadette said.
Do you remember the name of the park resort?
Luigi shook his head sadly.
Blooper, you drove the car,
Toadette said hopefully.
Did you see the sign?
Blooper thought carefully, back to the time when he had driven past the park resort sign. He had even said the name out loud to himself in the vehicle.
Yoshi Park Resort,
he whispered.
Betray. That's the password.
He put his mouth up to the speaker.
Betray.
All of a sudden there was a metal clicking sound of numerous gears, turning momentarily and simultaneously. The metal gate shook and dropped a few inches to the ground, separating both doors from each other, and at the same time, splitting the large B on the front of the gate into two halves. At the sound of the secret word, the gate doors had been unlocked.
Yes.
Toadette said out loud. Luigi stood motionless, awed. Blooper took a step towards the gate and gave it a gentle push, pushing open the doors of the metal gate even more. The other two came and helped him spread the doors open, until the path was cleared.
Let's go!
Luigi shouted.
Come on! Come on! We've wasted a lot of time,
said Blooper, as they all hopped into their vehicle as quickly as they could. With a mile left to go, they drove in a heavy rush. Luigi crossed his fingers, blabbering nonsense in an excited manner until they reached the train station. Toadette grabbed onto her seat, not bothering to put on her seatbelt. Blooper paid no attention to the 40 mph sign that showed up more than twice on the way to the train station, and stepped on the pedal as hard as he could. Would they make it under the time limit? Or had all this work come to a complete waste? The car reached the end of its path. McAllister looked down at them from the top of the platform, not surprised in seeing their untimely arrival. As Blooper stopped the car, he and Toadette jumped out.
Wait, my seatbelt!
Luigi said with panic. Blooper turned around and pulled at the leather strap around Luigi's waist, ripping the belt off.
Hurry!
Toadette shouted, as the three players ran up the stairs to the train platform. At the same time that all three of them had reached the top of the stairs, they had also reached McAllister. Also at the same time, they had completed their challenge.
I have to tell you that you guys have done a fantastic job,
the host told them.
Feel proud and relaxed. You've completed your journey, and your last game of the mole. Did we make it in time?
Luigi asked.
I'm dying to know. How do you guys think you did? Fast enough, hopefully,
said Toadette.
We did the best we could. I think we did waste some time in a few moments during our game,
Blooper said.
Well, let me tell you this,
McAllister said.
You began with 60 minutes. You were able to achieve 45 extra minutes in the mini challenges you played, so that gave you 1 hour and 3/4 of another hour of time in total to reach me.
He took out his pocket watch.
You reached me in 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 18 seconds.
The three of them were stunned.
Wait, that means we won.
Luigi said.
I won.
He jumped in the air, thrilled and victorious. Toadette laughed and hugged him with relief.
We all won,
she corrected.
I can't believe we only had 42 seconds to go,
Blooper said, shaking his head with disbelief.
Great job, team,
said Luigi.
We did it.
Team Pot. 240,000 coins.
The team pot now stands at 240,000 coins,
said McAllister.
At the end of tonight, one of you will win it all. Wow,
said Toadette softly.
Will the finale be here?
Luigi asked the host.
No,
said McAllister.
It'll be a few hours from here. Then why is this place important?
Blooper asked him.
Why did we end this game here? The train station is where everything begins and ends,
the host told them.
As the train approaches, you'll each enter a separate passenger car. In each car will be a computer for taking your final quiz. Be prepared, there are 20 questions in total about the mole. Whoever answers the most correctly will win the game.
The players nodded, anxiously.
Is the train arriving soon? Asked Blooper. Of course not. It's way too early. You still have to pack your bags. Plus, you have to eat before taking the quiz. None of you will be able to answer any questions if you don't fill your stomach.
The players relaxed, happy and assuaged by the fact that their quiz would be delayed. It had been a long day. The sun was already setting, and so was their game. Toadette, the journey of completion was one of the best games we've played. This is the largest amount of money we've won, so I guess teamwork is always a good way to end a journey. Blooper, how do I feel about 240,000 coins in the team pot? Ecstatic and confused. Ecstatic, because I might be able to win it all. Confused because it's called the team pot. As far as I know, only one person is going to win it all. Luigi, I can't actually see myself winning. Something might block my way of success, and if it does, well, it just shows that I'm always meant to be second place. But before their final questionnaire, the players had to go through one more challenge. This final and most consequential challenge would put their ethics to the test. Their last dinner was served to them. Blooper's came first, then Toadette's, then Luigi's. By the time Blooper had finished his sundae, Toadette was only halfway done, and Luigi had just received his.
Blooper, would you please follow me?
Said Micaliboo.
We need to carry your luggage down from the hotel.
Blooper got up and followed Micaliboo out of the restaurant, onto the outdoor patio. Near a standing torch was a table, where they both sat down.
Hello Blooper,
said the host.
I'm about to make you a deal.
He pulled out a folder.
What I have is the mole's dossier. It's the mole's full profile, including the mole's background information, episode diary entries, and various acts of sabotage. How much are you willing to take out of the pot to receive this?
Blooper looked at the folder hard, and then at Micaliboo.
Shoot,
he said, sitting back in his chair.
I don't know.
He shrugged.
30,000, I guess,
Blooper decided.
So you're willing to take 30,000 coins out of the team pot in exchange for the mole's dossier, Blooper?
Said the host.
Think this over.
Blooper looked down at the ground.
I feel as if I need this,
he told Micaliboo.
This is the only chance I have to receive such a thing, and with the final quiz tonight, I'm sure with my choice. Why 30,000? Assuming that you're probably going to tempt the others as well, I believe 30,000 will secure my bet. Thank you. You may return to the restaurant. Please send Toadette over.
Blooper got up and entered back into the restaurant. Blooper, 30,000 coins is a lot of money. It doesn't really matter to me what the others would think once they discover what I did, but then again, maybe they're being offered as well.
That was very quick,
Luigi noticed.
Where's Macaliboo?
Asked Toadette.
He wants you,
said Blooper.
Macaliboo is on the patio. You have to walk over to him. Which one?
Asked Luigi.
Toadette.
Toadette got up with confusion and went out the doors of the restaurant. Toadette sat down at the patio table, puzzled and curious. Macaliboo sat across from her, directly in front of the torch behind him.
Hello Toadette,
he said.
I'm about to make you a deal.
He pulled out the green folder.
This is the mole's dossier. It's the mole's full profile, including the mole's background information, episode diary entries, and various acts of sabotage. How much are you willing to take out of the pot to receive this? Oh my god,
said Toadette, covering her mouth.
Are you serious? That's cheating. Do you want the dossier?
Macaliboo asked.
But why me?
She asked.
Because you're the only girl left.
Toadette calculated the remaining money in the team pot in her head.
If this would help me win the game, I'm willing to give 25,000 coins out of the team pot for the dossier,
she decided.
Are you sure?
Said Macaliboo.
This is not just your money, but the team's money you're sacrificing. I know, but only one person's going to win it all. If I win the money, I'm hurting myself. If someone else wins, they'll be happy with 215,000 coins. I'm sure. Thank you. You may return to the restaurant. Please send Luigi over.
Toadette went back to the restaurant. Toadette, 25,000 coins doesn't seem like that much anymore. After winning so much cash in the past weeks, you start to look at the value of money differently. It's like...
Oh, it's only 25,000 coins out of 200,000. So why did you go outside?
Luigi asked Blooper. Blooper shrugged.
Something you probably wouldn't care about,
he said quickly.
I needed to transfer my luggage, and he was wondering why my bags were so large.
Toadette entered the restaurant.
Luigi, Macaliboo wants you, she said. But I'm not done with my dessert,
he argued.
It's important,
added Blooper. Luigi got up and went over to the patio. Toadette sat down and sighed.
How much did you bid?
She asked Blooper.
I didn't bet anything,
he retorted.
Come on, I'm not stupid,
Toadette said.
I think he's making deals with all of us for the dossier. No, he's not. He didn't tell me anything. Then why did he bring you out?
Blooper refused to reply.
Well, I told him I'd give 25,000 coins for the dossier,
said Toadette.
That's half of what we earned today. I hope I got it.
Blooper, knowing that Toadette was out of the bidding, I was hoping that Luigi would simply turn down the offer. He seems pretty sure already of who the mole is, so if he turns down the deal, the dossier is mine. Though with me being such a pessimistic person, I doubt it.
Hello Luigi. I'm about to make you a deal.
Luigi raised his eyebrow as Macaliboo pulled out the green folder. The torch behind him blazed violently.
This is the mole's dossier. It's the mole's full profile, including the mole's background information, episode diary entries, and various acts of sabotage. How much are you willing to take out of the pot to receive this?
No, said Luigi.
This is a joke. It's not,
said Micaliboo.
How much do you want to give for this?
Luigi contemplated the situation.
Well,
he stuttered.
The dossier is important. Very important. How many pages is it? I cannot tell you. Then, I will put up 50,000 coins. Luigi, think again,
said Micaliboo.
50,000 is a large amount of money that will not only hurt you, but the team.
Luigi looked instantly regretful.
I changed my mind,
he said.
I will not give any money. Friendship is better than greed. Are you sure?
Repeated Micaliboo.
No. I'm sticking with 50,000.
Luigi decided.
Final answer, and I'm not going to change it. Thank you. You may return back to the restaurant. Tell the other two to come here. I want you, Luigi, to finish your dessert.
Luigi nodded and went back to get the other two. Blooper and Toadette took their seat at the patio table, across from Micaliboo and the torch. In the center of the table was the dossier.
Welcome back,
said Micaliboo.
Congratulations for passing the test of temptation. Because Luigi had offered to sacrifice 50,000 coins for the mole's dossier, higher than any of you had bid, he will have no control in this part of the game.
He turned around and grabbed the torch from the stand behind him, making Blooper and Toadette lean back with surprise.
It's up to you,
said Micaliboo, holding up the fiery stick.
Read the dossier, or burn it. Once the folder is opened, you will lose the 50,000 coins that have been put at risk by your fellow teammate. You have 1 minute to decide.
He placed the torch into a handle sticking out from the side of the table.
So if any of us reads it, we lose 50,000, right?
Blooper questioned. Micaliboo nodded. Blooper turned to Toadette.
What do you want to do?
He asked her.
We already have the money in the pot,
Toadette said.
We shouldn't lose it.
Blooper looked at the blazing fire.
But it's the mole's dossier.
Blooper exclaimed.
Everything about the mole. Wouldn't you want it? I would,
Toadette admitted.
I'd like to have it.
She then shook her head.
But it's not right,
she said.
It's not fair if one of us reads it and the other person doesn't get to.
Blooper stared at the green folder.
When we were at the gate, I heard something emitted from the intercom,
Blooper told her.
The voice said temptation will ruin everything. I think this is what it's talking about.
Toadette smiled.
You're right,
she said.
I heard it too.
The two of them sat in silence, hearing only the sound of the flame and feeling nothing but the increasing heat of the fire. Micaliboo looked at his pocket watch.
Let's burn it,
said Toadette.
Agree.
Blooper nodded slowly, but then stopped. Suddenly, he reached forwards and grabbed the folder from the middle of the table. Toadette gasped.
No, Blooper, don't.
She said frantically.
Don't open it. It's not fair.
Blooper looked down at the floor of the patio.
I know what's fair,
Blooper said quietly. He grabbed the torch from the table, and with only little hesitation, held the green folder up to the flame. As the folder was on fire, Blooper dropped it to the ground. The two of them watched as the 15 pieces of paper went up in flames, burning silently and slowly to nothing but unreadable ashes. The mole's dossier was destroyed. Sorry, I had to cut off from the end of this episode and make this a short chapter. And by the way, I'm going by the US versions of The Mole. That means there's going to be a reunion of everyone after this, which takes place a few months after everything is finished. Check my profile for the first page of The Mole's mini diary. It's soaked in cranberry juice, so it's kind of hard to read. This is officially the first page of The Mole's diary entry in the folder of The Mole's dossier. The rest is too revealing, so I won't be putting those up. Ha! Review if you want, but if you've found some major spoiler clues, don't mention them or the mole will have to burn you. The poll for the mole will come at the next update, and this is a promise. End of chapter.